Sharp key signatures. Sharp key signatures. Let's begin with the no sharps, no flats, just a key of C. We're going to write 5 ledger lines, which is a staff, and you can play on this guy as we go if you like. Yeah. Good. So this is called a staff, 5 ledger lines. We're going to put in a bar line. Over here, we're going to put in our treble clef. Okay, if you want to write a treble clef, draw the number 6, then draw a J through it. 6, J. And that's it. Never draw a treble clef from the bottom up. It will look awful. There is absolutely no way to do it. That's not how treble clefs are drawn. Draw 6 with the J through it. This is the key of C. Key of C. Okay? It has 0 sharps and 0 flats. We'll draw an extra ledger line hanging right down there. That's going to be our C. That's going to be our C. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now that C at the top is kind of, we already had a C. But here it is, the key of C. Okay. 0 sharps, 0 flats. That's worth writing. That's the first key. And the reason it's the first key is because it has 0 sharps and 0 flats. Let's look at the next key. And by next key, which means, that means the key with 1 sharp. Do you know the key with 1 sharp? G. That's right. We're going to look at how we get G from C. I'm going to draw 5 ledger lines. 5 ledger lines is a staff. Staff is a group of people who work for you. So these ledger lines work for you. So they're your staff. We're going to draw a treble clef. To draw a treble clef, draw a 6 with an F or a J or an S through it. Okay, now this is the key of G. Key of G. Let's draw the key of G. It's going to start and end on what? G, right. So we have G, A, B, C, D, E. Now the next note is going to be the sharp. The black key on the piano. F sharp. If we play F natural, it sounds like this. Oh, that doesn't sound right at all, right? Here's the F. Here's the F sharp. Okay? The F sharp is called the leading tone. It's the 7th scale degree. Sorry. So we need that sharp. So I'm going to draw it in red. I'm going to draw this in red, the F sharp. F sharp. and I'm going to extract this sharp and bring it to the front of the staff. Right there. That's called our key signature. Okay? Key signature. It's the nature of the key, and we're going to sign it. So the key signature looks like this. You have to have a clef, otherwise you don't know what the notes are. So we'll put our treble clef or a G clef. Okay. Draw a 6 with a J through it, and then the top line is F. So that's our key signature right there. Okay. Then we're going to have our G. I mean, we already had a G, so we're just really, the 8th scale degree is borrowed. So this is scale degree 1, scale degree 2, scale degree 3, scale degree 4, scale degree 5, scale degree 6, scale degree 7, scale degree 8. Go ahead and play the key of G. Good. In the world of music, the little hat sign like that means degree. We don't use what they use in chemistry, which is, a little superscript of a circle. We don't use that. We use the hat because musicians like to complicate everything. 4, 5th scale degree, 6th scale degree, 7th scale degree, 8th scale degree. Now here we got 1st scale degree, 2nd scale degree, 3rd scale degree, 4th scale degree, 5th scale degree, 6th scale degree, 8th scale degree, and because we sharped the F sharp to make it easy to see on the board, we'll use the color red. 7th scale degree. That's how I draw my 7s. Okay. Let's draw the next one. After the key of G is the key of D. The reason we say the key of D is after the key of G is because the key of D has 2 sharps, right? Has nothing to do with the fact that, we're not going C, D, E, F. We're going C, G, D because we're counting the number of sharps in the key signature. So if the key signature has 1 sharp, you're in the key of G. So that's 1 sharp, 2 sharps. Okay, so this is going to be the key of D. Okay. Now, when you write the sharp key signature, you're always going to take the previous key signature. You're going to start with the previous key signature. The previous key signature to D was G. So we're going to start with G. That's our baseline key signature. The next sharp, can you play the key of D? Yeah, so what's the next sharp? Yeah, good. The C sharp. So we're going to sharp the C. Now when I add a sharp at the beginning of the line here, it means all the C's are sharped and all the C's up or down are sharped. So I don't need to draw another ledger line with a C. It's implied. If I draw a C down here, okay, right there, I don't even think we can see that. If I draw a C right here, that's sharp. I don't have to write sharp. It's just sharp as opposed to C, natural. because it's sharped in the key signature. All the C's up and down and across throughout the whole piece are sharped until we see a natural sign. And then when we hit the bar line, it resets, and then the C's will be sharp. The C's and the F's. So the key of D has a C sharp and an F sharp. Let's go ahead and write that in. D. Did I say C? D. E. Now the F was sharped. I'm going to draw the F sharp as a red note to make it easy to see. Key of D, F sharp, G, A, B. Now we're going to sharp the C sharp. That's the new scale degree. And then we're back to D. We already had D, so I'm just going to draw a dotted circle here. The scale degrees are really 7-1, but nobody wants to say 7-1 when you're listening to this. 7-1, because 7-1 it kind of makes you think. But so we say 7-8. 7-8. Even though 8 is really 1, just like 13 o'clock is really 1 o'clock. So this is scale degree 1. Scale degree 2, scale degree 3, scale degree 4, 5, 6, scale degree 7 is sharped. Now you may start to notice something. The first sharp was scale degree 7. By the way, we refer to scale degree 7 as the leading tone. The leading tone. It's getting worse and worse, isn't it? The word leading tone is probably the second most frequent word you'll hear, or phrase you'll hear in all of music. The first is octave. You're going to hear octave a lot. From D to D is an octave because 8 means oct. Okay, so 8 notes up is an octave. Octave. Just like an octagon has 8 sides. It's a polygon with 8 sides. So oct means 8, okay? If we have an octopus has 8 tentacles. So octave means 8. Leading tone is the 7th scale degree. The octave is the 8th scale degree. Leading tone is the 7th scale degree. And it's always the sharp at the previous scale. We're going to get into that. Leading tone. That's the phrase you'll hear almost as much as octave, but people often talk about the leading tone. It's the 7th scale degree, and that's all it means. Nothing sort of fancy about it. If we say leading tone, we just mean scale degree 7. So start to use this musical language. Very important. Now you see the C sharp is the 7th scale degree, it was sharped. The F sharp is the 7th scale degree, it was sharped. We sharped F. What was F in the previous key? What scale degree? 4. We took the 4th scale degree in the key of C, we sharped it, and we made it the 7th scale degree. Okay? Now, C sharp, what was C in the previous scale? In the key? 4. Yeah, again, we took the C from the key of G, which is the 4th scale degree. Okay? We sharped it. Sharped the C. And we made it into the leading tone for the next key. That's interesting. So, we start to see a pattern here. Now, G is what scale degree in the key of C? Try again. G is what scale degree in the key of C? 5th. G is the 5th scale degree in the key of C. So we're going to take the 5th scale degree, okay, and that's going to be the next key. D is what scale degree in the key of G? 5th. We call the 5th scale degree the dominant. We call the 8th scale degree the octave. We call the 7th scale degree the leading tone. We call the 5th scale degree the dominant, because it actually establishes the domain, dom for domain, that we're in. If we have the 5th scale degree, we can get the 1st scale degree. It sounds like the key of the 1st scale degree, a chord built off the 1st scale degree. So that's our domain. So it's the dominant, the dominant. It's a dominant sound. The 5th scale degree is called the dominant. The 7th scale degree is called the leading tone. And the 8th scale degree is called the octave. All right, so based on this pattern that we have on the board, what's the next scale? A. That's exactly right. So the 5th scale degree in the key of D is A. What's the leading tone, 7th scale degree for A? G something. G sharp. Yeah, we're going to sharp the 4th scale degree. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll take 5 and we'll make it A. So let's make A. We'll make a staff. 5 ledger lines is a staff. These ledger lines work for you. They're your staff. They give you the notes. key of A. So far we have C, G, D. The next key is A. How many sharps is the key of A going to have? 3 sharps. That's exactly right. 3 sharps. Let's draw a treble clef, I'm sorry. Then we're going to draw, now we're going to borrow the previous key signature, F sharp and C sharp. F sharp, C sharp. Now we're going to add the new sharp. The fourth scale degree gets sharped of the previous key. So G gets sharped, so let's add a G sharp, and that's exactly what we're going to do. Now let's draw the key of A. A. B. What comes after B? Whoa. Yeah. That's very different. That almost calls for. Let's go. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, that's better. C sharp. So we'll make it red so we can see it. C sharp. After C sharp is what? D. And then E. And then we have F sharp. Then we have G sharp. Then we have A. So now we have 3 red notes. We have scale degree 1, scale degree 2. We have C sharp from over here, scale degree 3, scale degree 4, scale degree 5, the dominant. Scale degree 5 is called the dominant. Scale degree 6, scale degree 7, and scale degree 8 or 1. So now we have red, red, red. 3, 6, and 7. Very interesting. So we have the key of C, no sharps, no flats. Key of G, 1 sharp. Key of D, 2 sharps. Key of A, 3 sharps. Now we have our pattern. So tell me the pattern. What's going to be the next key? Right. The key of E. Why is the key of E the next key? Because it's the 5th scale degree. That's right. And it has how many sharps? Four sharps. And what's the new sharp? D sharp. Yeah, we can't say D, but we can say D sharp. And why is D sharp the new sharp? The 4th scale degree of the previous key. That's exactly right. Yeah, you're pretty good at this. So that's the pattern. Draw a treble clef. You can draw a 6 with a J through it. And we're going to start on E. E. What comes after E? Let's draw the key signature. we always begin with the previous key signature. So let's just go ahead and draw the key signature of A, which is F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and then we'll add the D sharp like that. So E, then we have the second scale degree, which is F sharp, G sharp. A is blue. It's natural. I mean, this is just my color scheme. B is blue. Then we have C sharp, the sixth scale degree, because it was sharped before. We have the new scale degree, 7, D sharp, and then we're back to E. And I'll draw it in dots because we started with E, so we already have an E, so technically I don't need to draw it again. So we have scale degree 1, scale degree 4. Remember, 4 is never sharped because that's the one we always need to sharp. 5. And then 8. And then the new red ones, the red because they're sharped, scale degrees 2, 3, 6, 7. What comes after E? B. The key of B. That's right. We have the pattern now. Okay, we're going to begin with the previous key signature. How many sharps is B going to have? 5. How many sharps are on the piano? How many black keys are on the piano? 5. Yeah. So we're using all 5 black keys. Yep. There we go. Yeah, there you go. That's it. Okay, so let's start with B. Oh, let's make our key signature. We're going to start with the previous key signature. So it's going to be F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp. Now we're not going to put a key signature on ledger lines. We never do that. So I need some place to put this new leading tone. What is the leading tone going to be, by the way? The 7th scale degree. Oh boy. D sharp was the leading tone for E. So what's the pattern? We take the 4th scale degree, we sharp it, and we turn it into the leading tone of the next key. So what's the 4th scale degree of E? A. So it's going to be A sharp. I'm not going to draw a ledger line with a sharp on it. So I'm going to come down here and do that, because that's A. Okay. Can you see this thing? No, I can't even see this thing. Yeah, we can see it now. So we have B. What comes after B? C sharp. So we'll make it red, just so we can see it. As you can see, the reds are taking over. D sharp. And with the fourth scale degree, remember the fourth scale degree is not sharped, because that's the one we need to sharp to get to the next key. So we'll make that blue. E. We have F sharp. That was the very first sharp we did in the key of G. F sharp, still there, still sharp. It's an old timer by now. G sharp, and the new one, A sharp. So now we have our 2 black keys and our 3 black keys. 2 black keys, 3 black keys on the piano. Scale degree 1. Scale degree 4. Now the flats are the same thing in the opposite direction. We're not going to do the flats here, but we'll do them in another, because that's a little different because we're going in the opposite direction. Okay, so now we've got key of B, all the black keys. And we have our 2 black keys and 3 black keys. 2 reds, 3 reds. Okay, so we have 1, B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B. So we took the 4th scale degree, which was A, we sharped it and made it A sharp, and that became the 7th scale degree in the next key. So you can see here, let's make sure they're all on the board here. The key of C has no sharps and no flats. The key signature is just an empty key signature. You might see a time signature like 4-4 or something like that, but you're not going to see a key signature, which comes after the time signature. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. 0 sharps. The key of G has 1 sharp. The 4th scale degree gets sharped and becomes the leading tone for the next key. In the key of G, the 4th scale degree is C. We're going to sharp the C, and in the key of D, the leading tone becomes C sharp. In the key of D, the 4th scale degree is G. We're going to sharp G to get the leading tone of the key of A, the 7th scale degree. The leading tone means the 7th scale degree. That's it. In the key of A, the 4th scale degree is D. We'll sharp D to get the leading tone of the next key, which is E. In the key of E, A is the 4th scale degree. We'll sharp 4 to get A sharp, which is the leading tone of the next key, which is B. The next key means adding 1 more sharp. So we have the key of C, which has 0 sharps. The key of G has 1 sharp. The key of D has 2 sharps. The key of A has 3 sharps. The key of E has 4 sharps. The key of B has all the black keys on the piano. So if you're playing violin or cello or something, you're like, why are there 3 sharps? It's just one big black ebony fingerboard, right? The answer is because you have to know the piano. If you don't know the piano layout, you can't understand music at all. You have to know the piano, and that's why every instrumentalist has to have basic keyboard skills so that they can understand music theory. And this is a big part of the foundation of music theory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are your key signatures. They do go on. We won't talk about that right now. We'll limit this. So here's the key of C. If you go up a fifth, you get G. If you go up a fifth, you get D. If you go up a fifth, you get A. If you go up a fifth, you get E. If you go up a fifth, you get B. Okay? So you're always going up a fifth to get to the next key with one more sharp. The fifth of C is G, and that's the next key. The fifth of G is D, and that's the next key. The fifth of D is A, and that's the next key. The fifth of A is E, and that's the next key. The fifth of E is B, and that's the next key. All right? What's the fifth of B? F sharp, and that's the next key. We're not going to talk about F sharp right now. What does that mean to be the next key? The next key means you're adding a sharp. So these are closely related keys. G is very closely related to C. D is closely related to G. So if a composer is composing music, you're going to transpose often to closely related keys. Okay? Because all you have to do is just change that one note, the fourth scale degree, and sharp it. So if we start, let's say we're composing something in, let's say we'll just take Twinkle Twinkle Little Star in the key of C. If I sharp the F, now I'm in the key of G. That's the F sharp. If I lower the F sharp, now I'm in the key of C. Okay? All I have to do to get to the next key as a composer is sharp the fourth or flat the seventh, and I'm in the previous key, right? So that's a compositional technique. So you may have thought, oh, well, C is very close to C sharp on the keyboard. Here's C, and here's C sharp. So maybe they're closely related keys. They're not. They're as far apart as possible. You can't get further from C than C sharp. Okay, if you want to transpose to C sharp, you can do it, but there's no preparation for it. I mean, you just kind of there are ways to do it, but it's a very far away key. It's a little bit more jarring. It's not as smooth as just, you know, changing the fourth scale degree. So be aware of that when you're listening to Beethoven and Brahms and Bach and all that kind of stuff. Although Brahms likes flat keys, but be aware that when you move that fourth scale degree up and down, you can get to a new key, a closely related key. Okay, E is closely related to A and B. So that's the beginning of the sharp key signatures. We're always going up a fifth to get to the next key. C, G, D, A, E, B. Do you have any questions about this? Great.